A very good morning to everyone. I'm Harsitha, currently pursuing my BTech third year degree in Lendi Institute of Engineering and Technology in the stream of Electronics and Communication Engineering. Today, I'm here to done my case study, which is a part of our ESGS course with our beloved senior, who is Narayan Rao. First of all, I want to ask you some questions. Before that, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I am Narayan Rao Bhogapurgu, currently a postdoctoral fellow at Caltech. Uh, I got my undergrad in civil engineering from CETAM, and then I got my master's in remote sensing from NIT Warangal. Then I got my PhD from IIT Bombay. Then I moved to US as a postdoctoral fellow at University of Massachusetts, and then followed by Caltech. Mostly my research area is remote sensing, in specific micro remote sensing. I work with both crops, forests, etc.
Okay.
Yeah, I think most of it.
How did you get your first job after your college?
Well, getting a job versus joining, yeah, I got placement offer from TCS after my BTech, but then I wasn't sure to join a job or continue my academics. Then I decided to for academics. Uh, but yeah, getting first job is good, but I was in a confused state to whether to even join or not, and then I continued and reached here till now. So this postdoctoral fellow, I got this offer through my professor during my PhD when I was like close to my finishing of my PhD. So I, my professor got this offer like, okay, another professor is looking for a postdoc position in our field, and then I was just interested in doing it.
Okay. Which skill helped you to secure your job?
It's like multifold. That's both by following mostly the people who are in that field. Let's say in my research, if I work with an synthetic aperture radar data. You might have heard recently, a month ago, there was an ISRO launch, NASA ISRO SAR, that's called NISR.
Okay.
So, by keeping me updating in the sense, follow the news from these international agencies and the people who work with these data sets. Mostly, stay connected with LinkedIn. These, and also it's a part of my profession as being a researcher. I have to attend conferences, meet people, and stay in touch with those people. Let's say if I'm solving some problem which others also being solving in the same way, let's say same problem we are solving in parallel, so we make collaborations with those people. I will write, okay, this is what I'm currently working on, and this is what draft I got, and if you have any better idea or interested in collaboration, so we stay in touch and we work together. So this research network we is more important in research. I mean, network is more important in research rather than in a corporate. The only thing to stay up to the technology is follow those people who stay up to the technology or who are the pioneers of your field, and not necessarily that, let's say, you just follow the Google or Amazon or something, let's say General Electric or something, because that they may give you a broader picture but not those focused areas. So I would always prefer select those people whom you want to follow, narrow down your research topic and your favorite thing. You might have your own favorite subject or a topic. Search the people who actually propose those ideas. Let's say you have your textbook or a reference. In that, you will always find those citations like, okay, this formula is given by so and so person. Just check whether the person is still active or not, and directly follow the person himself and or herself and see what they are currently doing and what they are up to. Because obviously, our textbooks are definitely a decade old than current date. So,
In colleges, there are some placements. If we're not getting a place in college, what are the major things we must focus on out of the campus? We must get job.
okay.
Because is there any chance to check is this student is IIT or a type 3 college?
Oh, definitely that won't be that's a sad part of the society that's going to be there because
Oh.
despite, okay, let's say if I'm not there from a Caltech perspective, obviously my skills would be overlooked. And with a brand or a tag definitely helps you to get that visibility and make you sit in the interview. And coming to in on campus and off campus things, off campus definitely gives you a more comfortable place to gives you a chance that you can directly attend an interview. But off campus is highly competitive and difficult, far more difficult than getting to opportunity to participate even in an interview, even if you're skillful. But what's common in both is even if you don't sit in a campus interview, focus yourself, improve the skills. Because as you mentioned, IIT versus non-IIT. Take any software company or electrical company. Not all big people are IITs graduates or NIT graduates. You can be from a small college and you can actually be over an IIT guy if you're skillful. It's just that simple because at the end, corporate people think values kill money than the tag. Tag only gets you that chance to face an interview or get a job. But after that, again, it's a struggle. You have to compete. Just because you are an IIT person, you don't get promotions if you don't work. It's just that simple. So focus on the skill. Even if you miss a campus, get an off campus, but it's a continuous process. It's not just a one time thing. You just do it and just forget about it. Because I've seen people, of course, IITians makes headlines most of the times, but how many industries have those IIT CEOs or non-IIT people? Obviously, there are a lot because only you see IITs CEOs when they make up to that mark, but rest of all other things are non-IITs. There is a huge share of non-IIT people accelerating and working compared to the IITs in that sense. It is just that, I mean, it's a pure statistics. We cannot make those kind of loose, I mean, it's very loose. We cannot make any deterministic judgments or conclusions here. But it's just, I'm giving an idea that the brand only can do a little, not entire thing.
Um, is there any platform which is a help for a student, like something which GitHub you told, right? Is it important to learn from GitHub or something Hacker Ranker is?
Yes, definitely. Let's say GitHub is kind of a de facto, I mean, this norm for any hosting of any code or just putting up your ideas. Because I would suggest, I'm not sure how much your profession or your interested profession is involved in coding or developing codes. I don't know. Like, do you also work with computer programming and models, something like that?
What?
Do you work with computer programming and some modeling and other stuff? I mean, your
Yeah, yeah.
interested subject. In that case, definitely GitHub is, I mean, I would definitely say you should learn it. I mean, there is no kind of alternative because there are a lot of other ways. If not now, even if you go to an industry when let's say there is a project and 10 people working on the same code and working at the same time, and how do you keep up all the progress and one after the other, the version controlling everything is a kind of that's what a Git offers you. Let's say even if you want to make your own projects and some codes and some idea you want to make a code and keep it somewhere so that people can use it or get an exposure of it, then GitHub is the way to go. GitHub is, I would say, a hosting platform of I mean, a Wikipedia of codes, basically. So you can also search for codes. Let's say if you're searching for some specific signal processing or code you're looking for, already people might have already done in a lot of variety of ways. You can pick up and start from there rather than starting from the scratch. On the other hand, LinkedIn, just to catch up to the current updates and where the world is, it's easy to get lost in that, but yeah, don't overdo those things. Once in a week should be fine, but the social media, because the algorithms itself are like mostly time wasting. I mean, they want our attention, so but we need the news. So make sure that it just there is a right balance between that. Don't spend most time.
Okay. Is it important to done an internship to build a strong resume?
Oh, your resume, yes, but I would say people don't. I mean, do not see the internship as a resume building.
Or
For
anything
now, yes,
which
for
is
now,
used suggest?
yes, internship definitely helps rather than doing it yourself at home, because you will be having your own kind of knowledge circle or your own closed awareness. If you go to any internship or real-time experience, directly working with the people who are involved in the real-time projects, the practical projects, it will definitely increase your horizon of knowledge and gives you more different perspectives. Because let's say you will be using the exact same formula to design a class book example or a lab experiment, but in industry they might be doing it in a different way at a bigger scale. So because that is what the kind of a skill you need if you want to work with a real world problem. So that will definitely prepare you to face the world or to a job. Internships definitely I would recommend, but not for a PR or whatever point of resume they call. Uh, Resume building is okay and good, I would say, to again, all resume, your brand, your CGPA, all these things will increase your chance to get an interview.
Okay.
But from there, there is no tags, IITs, NITs, or you have a 10 page of resume or 100 page of resume. Once you are sitting in the interview, all your all you need is the skill and spontaneity and your smartness to face those questions. Just because you have a good resume doesn't guarantee you that even lack of some skills would give you a chance to get the job. It's more important the skill rather than that. It is important because sometimes people may directly get a biased opinion over your resume and just take it light. Even if you don't answer some questions, they can give you a chance, but that's like a bit rare.
Is GATE and this exam is important to get a
Um,
job or to done MTech in IITs or NITs?
for NITs and IITs, GATE is must. I think it's mandatory. Without GATE score, I don't think you can actually enroll into every as a regular student. There are other ways, non-GATE ways to even enroll for MTech or a PhD without GATE, but mostly it's GATE. Even if it is not an MTech, even if it is not for an MTech admission, it would be definitely a good learning experience or kind of a challenge to take up to test your own self and see how much you learn during your 4 years of BTech and where you can would position yourself in this competitive world. Those kind of perspectives definitely motivates you. Even if not the entire subject you are, let's say, even if you don't qualify, but at least you, you might think that, okay, I'm good at this topic and this subject, and I love this more. And it will give you a sense of satisfaction if you could do that same topic, if you can perform better in the gate, even if you don't qualify the entire thing. But that would be a very good challenge to take just to see, because you might be a college topper, but gate is beyond that. Will test your skills and what you will learn.
And what you done differently from others?
Uh, can you explain more of your question?
Okay, okay. What you done differently from others to get a job in USA?
Okay, differently from others is
Is in
I
our
yeah,
college results.
I got it. Before even thinking that is this useful to me, I've done whatever comes to me, kind of skills I develop. Let's say, even during the civil engineering time, I've involved in like I've learned the good programming skills, 3D, whatever the animation things, and diversified my knowledge. All the skills, despite let's say people used to think, even let's say I can give an example. My PhD is not from a civil department,
Yeah.
and yet people because you can do a remote sensing from a civil department or an interdisciplinary because after once you out of your graduation things will be more diversified and you will see a lot of non-domain people working in your domain people working in other domains. So it is only the skill set that you are competing, not your degrees at that position. So let's say you are going into some signal processing, not necessarily that everyone will be there with an electrical degree. No, a mathematician will be there or a physicist will be there. So yeah, it is difficult to compete with a mathematician in signal processing than an electrical engineering person. So at the end, you need a core understanding of it than your degree itself. So focus on those fundamentals, where it is coming from. So similarly, if you come to me, that's what I exactly did. Whatever makes me interesting or curious, I've done those things, learned those skills rather than okay, I'm civil engineer, I don't need this. Why I spend my time on this? Why I waste my time on this? No, I've done all those things. They definitely helped me when directly or indirectly till date. Yes.
Okay. As a beginners, we should learn all the things like if we take a C, we should learn depth of C, or we should learn some basics or C or anything. Java,
Mm.
Python. What is basic? Basic is enough for to get a job, or
Uh,
complete subject we must know.
I can answer in two ways this question. Okay. If the question is something like, let's say, the current world is running on Python, and if I know C versus Python, which language should I learn? Let's say. So think about a language. Forget about just keep a computer as such as an aside. And what is a language? You should be able to communicate properly. Whatever you're thinking, the other person. But here, the other person is a machine. Whatever you're thinking, you should make the machine do what you're thinking. Understand the core ideology of the language, not the syntax, whether it is a C, C++, Java, JavaScript, or any other Fortran. You should know how a programming language works. The core idea is learn a programming language, not C, not C++, not Python. The syntax, it is something like, let's say, communication. Communication skills, not necessarily English. Let's say if you are good at explaining the same thing in your local language, it is a good communication. Let's say, how do you explain what you are doing to your mother or father or a 10th class kid who don't know the English language? That is what a communication is. That's what exactly a programming is. Despite C or C++ or Python, learn programming language, how computers think, how you will interact with computers. That is what the digital skill rather than this. Once you know that, it's just a vocabulary. It is something like you know your sentence in your local language, you can translate it to whatever you language you want, but you know what to speak. That's what a programming language and syntax versus. Is it just a Python, MATLAB? Forget about it. Learn this core idea of programming language. How computer, let's say, if I have this task, what are the steps? That's what called an algorithm. What I have to do, what are the formulas or how this I have to do. Let's say same thing. When you given a question in your mathematics question, how you solve it step by step. Exact same thing. If you know how to solve it, you can use a calculator.
Yes.
It's the exact same thing. It will make you stuff easy, but learn the core idea of how the computers work and how they think and how they do tasks. If you know that, Any programming language is easy to learn because nowadays you have AI tools. If you can ask right question or right prompt, that is what all you have to do. The syntax will be given by the AI tool.
Okay. If you take a company, what it is expected from a fresher student?
Mostly, first they may see that whether you have the skill they required for that exact project what they're looking for or not. The first
Okay.
stage. And the second stage is even if you don't have that skill, how good you are to learn that new skill, how good you equipped with that. Exact same thing. Let's say if you say that, okay, I know C++ language, I don't know the Python, but they need Python language person who can directly code. And if there is a Python person who know actually Python language, and there is a C++ person, but the C++ person know in and out of C++. He knows in deep, let's say the person knows in depth. And the Python who know the Python, know the syntax of the Python and everything, how to deal with Python language itself. Whom do you think that they will hire?
Definitely, who know the Python, they will hire.
No, they hire the C++ person because he know how to do the things better. It's only the syntax they have to do. Just
Okay.
because you know the syntax doesn't mean that you know the programming language. The concept of oops or the concept, the core idea of algorithms is completely different than how you apply them. It's just a medium. That's what I'm saying. Whether you explain in your local language, Hindi or English, the thing you should know is you should know the correct formula, not your language or the jargon. Don't confuse with that. There is a huge difference between that. That is what it is difficult to get that, understand that difference, but there is a huge difference. That's what the recruiters look for. Even if you are great at English and you can just use all those entire dictionary words, doesn't mean that your communication is good.
Okay.
Ever. It's a two different things.
Now I understand what is going on. Now AI is giving everything what a human can do,
Yeah.
like pictures or some coding. Why people had to learn something coding or anything coding? AI is already given, right? Why people should learn?
Yeah. Even if you have followed Google's news, recently they have rewritten some 60 to 70% of entire Google's code base using AI. That's true. But if you see on the other side of it, you always, there are people who made that happen, who coded or prompt or 20% or 40%, because as of now, it can write a chunk of code, not the entire code base. And again, it is the person who decides the entire the flow or the storyline or the architecture and everything, and then asks AI, okay, write me this line of code and this task or this chunk and this chunk. With the tool, you can say, okay, instead of yeah, let's say I've completed my PhD before ChatGPT era or AI era, which I feel very good and proud about it because, and also
Yeah.
sometimes I feel the other way around, like I could have definitely finished my PhD work way before. Let's say the for the code I used to spend some 10 days to a month, now I can write in a week, less than a week. That is true. That doesn't mean that without me, AI can do the same thing. I can use AI to solve that. I can give another example of AI. Yeah, coding, yes. It can give you a syntax correctness, some up to some level of algorithm, but it's not yet there that you just define a project or a task and it will give you an entire project. I don't think so. Not yet there. But yes, it can replace a huge human chunk because you can see from 10 days to I can reduce my time for 1 day, which means I can do 10 times more. So obviously they need 10 times less people to do the same work. But
Yes.
they need people for sure. It just
Oh,
accelerates, just a tool rather than anything else.
Okay. And finally, what is the advice do you give for a fresher students, beginners?
Hmm. Keep yourself active. Never get bored of any subjects because every day there is something new to learn, whether it is your core or a personal life or anything. Let's say do not get more. I mean, if you're getting a situation of a boredom or something, let's say that shouldn't happen, then you're doing something wrong. There is something to fix. Because keep yourself engaged or active, your brain also active in some activity. Whether not necessarily be like, okay, you are doing all the time reading and doing the technical stuff. You can also play, you can pursue music, art, or anything. Something to keep your brain active so that it will indirectly affect your productivity, whatever they call your performance. Let's say a simple example is you spend a day in exercise, it will definitely improve your other smartness in the studies. People think in the otherwise, okay, why do I spend an hour or 2 hours playing something and instead I can read 1 or 2 hours more? Or again, come to that sleep. People say,
Yeah.
okay, 4 hours sleep, 3 hours, I read 20 hours. Scientifically, that is that can affect you in indirect, I mean, negatively rather than adding anything. Because there is a simple scientific studies out there you can check. If you sleep less, your brain works less. It's
Yeah, we
that
are
simple.
facing that. You when there is exam and yesterday or tomorrow, we are sacrificing our sleep to read. Then we forgot it in exam.
It
We
is
are
just that
facing that now.
simple. So that's what it is, just a daily thing rather than a few like fine. Instead, you just split it, do it daily. It needs more a consistent build up and also discipline rather than overnight things. Nothing can be done overnight. There is a saying, Rome was never built in overnight or something. So nothing can be done in overnight. If you push that and instead of giving good results, it may done in the other way around. You should be always consistent and disciplined mostly. Keep your body and brain both active to do anything productive and also make yourself happy. Otherwise, you can actually observe these things also. If you have even a little bit less sleep, you cannot even enjoy the day in a simple sense. Your emotions won't be controlled. If your small emotions cannot be controlled, then how can you say that your brain will be doing all those complex mathematics or physics, whatever you are solving? It's just scientifically inaccurate. You cannot do that. Now, I
Uh,
know we have this culture of, okay, you just put in more effort, you will get it out, but it should be scientifically correct. You should be aware of those things.
as we are in 20s, we are thinking that focusing on career is not so much of important by enjoying nowadays. We need not to sacrifice our time now to future
Okay,
get better.
we have an
Is it?
argument for both sides. So I can agree and also disagree for the same thing. So if I want to support the same argument, yeah, why not? I mean, if you can balance your career and also personal life, that's the ideal situation anyone wants. But you have your own limitations. I can give an example. I have seen I in back in IIT Bombay, where you will have top 120 IIT JEE toppers will be in CSE, IIT Bombay. That's how IIT Bombay is there. Where I have seen people who are extra smart that they can do these assignments and all those academic works in, let's say, 2 hours. And they used to come to the ground. I mean, because I used to play a lot volleyball and I'm everywhere kind of. So I do everything, whatever interesting. So in a way, they help me also in other way. So there is this guy, I think. who is I think JE fourth, no, JE 10th ranker, I think, all India, who used to come to volleyball. He's a very super. He is active in everything. He used to go to the music club. He used to go to the volleyball because he's a super smart guy. He can do everything. On the other side, I have other friends who are not so smart. They will spend the entire day in solving the same assignment. And
Okay.
but but here the question is they cannot obviously compete with that guy. And the person who is smart can do everything with the same 24 hours time, balancing
Yes.
everything. And these people cannot do everything. So the question is how to compete or how to balance. So accept your limits, know what how much you can balance everything. Mostly that is one way of living. If you want to live a more healthy and happier life. The other side is people say no matter you push and hard, you can beat the other one. It is sometimes it's difficult. Hard work beats smartness in some cases, but not all the time. It not a hard work. It's actually a proper plan and consistency beats them, not hard work. Hard work should be in a proper planned and structured way and more scientifically done, whatever it is. People say in more like these loose lines, but there are more details you have to be more focused on. Because let's say even an underperforming guy standing 24 hours day can never compete the topper for sure. It is just the reality. So why to compete with them? You will have your own kind of skill set where you can focus and you can find your own way. You will not all the 120 people in CSC want to work in the same field of Amazon. No, everyone has their own talent. Why to beat the same person in the same thing? You might be good at something else and look for that. That's how you balance. That's how you get your where you enjoy. That's what. I never say don't enjoy, don't waste the time or spend the time. It's that find out, try the different ways to find out your own comfort level, what your interests are, and other things. Make a fair competition rather than a single line focused and narrow thing.
Okay. Could you please tell me how you plan your day
Oh,
when you are in colleges?
oh, colleges. That is a very hard thing I did. My college was mostly I never kind of spend much time on my academics. I used to do an up and down from my house. It is like early morning 6:30. I used to start from my house. 3 kilometers cycling. From there, I used to catch a bus to Vijayanagaram, wait for another bus to JNTU Junction. Then I used to walk from there. So I used to spend at least 4 to 5 hours in transport per day.
Okay.
So if you think that 8 hours plus 8 hours, then I used to from morning 6:30 to I used to reach my house back in the evening, maybe if I reach early, it will be 6, otherwise 7:30 or 8. So most of my time used to go in there. But within that college, I used to spend whenever I get time, I used to spend in library, not with books though, but with computers. Mostly I used to learning new skills, whatever makes me interest, nothing related to civil engineering though. So sometimes civil engineering, mostly I used to do that. Okay, before 1 month of exams, then I used to get the books and I used to read because we know that okay, now it is you have a JNTU affiliation. We used to have Andhra University affiliation. Things are a bit more difficult back then, and we have this culture of focusing on important topics for the CGPA and other things, which I don't believe in, and I never followed those things because I come from a CBSE background where you don't have this culture. You have to read an entire textbook at least once. That's what I used to follow. Despite teachers, whether they covered the syllabus, how much they covered, and how they covered, I used to complete the textbook at least once before attending the exam. I read it at least once, entire textbook, like any other novel or any other book you are interested in, like any daily newspaper. I get the books, I read everything at least once. No matter how much you understood, at least you will get a broader idea at what is there in entire syllabus despite teachers. Because I would say it's only 50% you will learn in the whatever lectures, classes, even in IITs or NITs or any world-class universities. At the end, you have to learn yourself something you have to do at back at home. So this is how my kind of ready daily schedule used to be. Whenever I find time, go to the computer, learn something new, not necessarily this related to civil, but for the exams, I used to prepare in this way. Get the
Are you
textbooks in your
focusing on
syllabus.
textbooks rather than notes provided by a faculty?
Uh, for unit tests, that will work, but for final exams, they won't work. So
Yes.
in unit tests, I may score good. I used to score a decent one, but final scores will be different. Of course, I'll be in the topper in BTech, Masters, and PhD too. So that's a different thing. So yes, I got my best thesis and topper in Masters and also topper in CITAM. But
It's it.
I only have, it is only possible, I would say myself, like if the question paper is easy,
Hmm.
definitely other, in let's say a scenario, in case the question paper is easy, then I wouldn't be the topper for sure. The person who gets all those important questions mugged up, he or she will score more. If that is the toughest one, I will definitely qualify, not others. In fact, I was the only person cleared all the subjects in the first year in civil engineering in CITAM. So yeah, it happens. That's how I prepare for exams, not for grades or anything. I prepare for the worst. In case everyone fails, you will pass. But if question paper is easy, which means other people may definitely cross me. That's a risk if you want to do. So CGPA is not the tool here. My criteria is whether you learned enough and prepared enough for the skill or not. Because CGPA comes with if you are good, if you have good understanding of all. That's how I believe.
Uh, my last question is hackathons and some other competitions are important? Is they taught any lesson or some information?
Spend your time in colleges wherever you get all these chances. Never miss all this. It
Okay.
is both fun and also learning experience. These activities definitely teach you something beyond the classrooms or textbooks because the exact formula may not work in real sense because you have assumptions in making the formula, and reality never holds any assumptions. So if you want to work more real, if you want to keep yourself into a reality, then work, make your hands dirty. There is no other way of learning. Do it yourself.
Okay.
Participate. There you get even motivation. Even if you lose, you will understand why you lost. You might be the college topper, but in hackathons and real scenarios, you can never guarantee that a topper would win that ever. Why? Because things are different there. It's not textbook anymore. Why a college topper can never be a topper in GATE also? Because that's a different thing. That's a different game.
Yes.
So prepare yourself for those things, the real world rather than just the CGPA or
Yes.
the question paper.
Okay. Thank you for spending your valuable time with me. Throughout this interview, I got a lot of information and I clear so many queries which I have before. Thank you very much. Again, I'm telling thank you for spending your valuable time.
Oh, sure. You're welcome. Uh, yeah, stay active, stay curious all the time. It will get you somewhere. So, yep, all the best.
Thank
Okay.
you.